We have made it to Split.
Welcome back to another vlog. It is early summer and we are in Split. We arrived pretty late on a Wednesday night. Still quite a few people out, but I'm pretty tired. So let's go back to our place, go to bed, and I'll see you in the morning. A bit of a later start this morning, but first order of business is to try and find some food. The forecast for the next few days is over 30 degrees. I really don't do well in heat. So I'm walking around looking like a tourist wearing a hat, a neck fan, a parasol, SPF 50, but better sun safe than sorry. We tried to go into a restaurant along the Riva, but they weren't serving food until later, and we were hungry, so back to Narodni Square we went. Well, what is happening here? After lunch, we went for a walk down by the Riva, hoping to eventually find some ice cream. You can never get a good picture of these city signs without people crawling all over them. The ice cream was right next to Diocletian's cellars. Let's go in. Diocletian's palace was built around 300 AD as the retirement home of Roman Emperor Diocletian. Not a typical palace, but an entire fortified town where people have lived continuously ever since. These cellars run directly beneath it, mirroring the floor plan. But because medieval inhabitants built upward rather than downward, they were buried under centuries of rubbish and essentially forgotten. Archaeologists only excavated them in the 20th century. They survived by being completely ignored. It emerges into the peristyle, the central courtyard of Diocletian's palace. This is the grand ceremonial space where the emperor would appear before his subjects. This woman in the red would not stop standing in front of everyone's photos. It was kind of hilarious. And then she had a selfie stick and was a menace that way. As the hottest part of the day encroached, we escaped into the side streets, thankfully mostly entire, covered in loads of shadows. And then, of course, coffee. The souvenir shops had some really interesting stuff. Just north of the Golden Gate stands this 9-meter-tall statue of Gregory of Nin. He was a Croatian bishop who fought to have the church services conducted in the local Croatian language rather than Latin, which was radical at the time. Apparently rubbing his toe is said to bring good luck, so millions of people have done just that. Okay, time to grab some dinner. We are the sisters who film everything, including our food. A significant amount of risotto and not really perfectly cooked in my opinion. Okay, time to walk off some of the food. One stop for a nightcap before bed. Good night. My tourist-looking self, we are off to Hvar. The ferry ride from Split to Hvar is about an hour. As someone who gets pretty seasick, I was a bit anxious, but it actually wasn't that bad. I had to sit by the window, of course, to watch the horizon. First thing on the itinerary was a little bit of a wander in the streets and then try to find some lunch.
Doce Bahia, vejo dominó na esquina e banguelo sorrindo de alegria. Doce Bahia.
You know I love to pop in a church, and I'm not sure why this one wasn't open. I'm still sad about it. When it's so hot, you sort of just wander from food place to food place, so we stopped for some juice.
Sinto do Abaeté, o cheiro do acarajé da Cirá. Doce Bahia. O pivete é o meu filho, dá troco.
Hvar is gorgeous. Just loads of places to take photos. I really enjoyed just walking around. summer means bougainvilleas, and they are so pretty with so much pink everywhere. As I've gotten older, I've just sort of become a bit obsessed with flowers. I think I've turned into my grandmother, but in a very good way. You can't be on the Mediterranean and not have gelato, at least twice a day, right? I'll be honest, there's not loads to do on Hvar other than sort of walk around and take in the sights, but I'm mostly interested in filming and getting photos anyway, so. By mid-afternoon, we decided we would wait for the ferry, so stopped for a coffee on the Riva. Honestly, this was expensive and really terrible, but it's the atmosphere, right? Back in Split, we decided to go for someplace nice for dinner. It was my sister's birthday, so we wanted to celebrate. Another adventure to go find some cake. Starts with a long walk down the Riva at sunset. Okay, she had cake, I had gelato. It's my second time today, right? You gotta have it 2 times a day.
For going back.
Okay, thank you.
I know.
Do we look like tourists?
I think maybe you're from States or something.
Canada.
Canada. Ah, super.
Yeah.
Our first adventure of the day is visiting Klis Fortress. It's not super far out of Split, but you do need to get an Uber. The big draw for us here is that this is the city of Mereen from Game of Thrones. Also, look at this view. It was 33 degrees this day, and I was dying just a little bit climbing up all these hills in the open sun. But these little throughways had the most amazing breeze. Okay, back into Split we go. Let's go for a beverage at a beautiful spot. This view is worth the expensive drinks that you pay at this spot. From the hill, we walked back down into Split. Walk took about 20 minutes to half an hour. Of course, gorgeous and hot. But again, no regrets. Since we really liked fig in Hvar so much, we discovered that there was a fig in Split, and so we decided to go there for our last meal. This gelato was probably the best one I had in Split. I think it's a good reason that there's a long lineup. And the next morning, I was off. Thanks for tuning into this vlog. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.